Well, hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and I hope you can see me. I am broadcasting again from my bedroom today because we've got some internet issues that have been going on, but we think they can be related to the computer that I borrowed while mine's in ICU. So welcome to everybody that's here. And I move this light. I got the cutest little light. It does. Hang on a second. I got to show you this. It doesn't have a bulb in it. Apparently, with the LED lights, they don't need bulbs in them anymore, right? They basically will last a lifetime. So I thought, I just mentioned that. All right. Hi there, Jody, and hi to Beth. Today, we're doing Soul Sunday, and I decided to talk about being brave. The reason is I know that we've got a lot of us that have got stuff going on where we need to be a little bit brave. I was thinking about Nyasha's mom is going in for an operation, so both she and Nyasha have reason to be brave this week. Beth, I know that you've got some issues going on where, being brave is important to you. I'm just trying to position my coffee because, this is not going to happen without coffee. And, and then I was thinking, there's so many different people going through stuff. And I thought, I just want to talk a little bit about being brave. For those of you who've been following my story, this will be probably the most challenging week of my life in some ways. I have a major house deal that could collapse. When I say it could collapse, if they haven't met the criteria by the end of the month, the deal will fold. I, however, did have two people come to look for the house at the house yesterday, and one of them really loves it. But I just heard this morning that they have to sell before they can buy. So that's another, delay. But I keep looking at it and going, aren't I lucky to have this problem? Right? Because if you think about it, as long as I stay brave, we will be fine. I, have to juggle a bit to be able to survive the financial wait. Nobody expected to have to wait this long to sell. But it is what it is, and that's all I need to do is to be juggling things so that I can survive it until the sale. Now, how many of you can feel that if the sale collapses at the end of the month, that would be a bad thing? Any of you going, wow, that's only a couple of days away now, Sal, you must be terrified. And yet I'm not. You see, if I remain brave, then I will continue to believe that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. And therefore, maybe the deal that I have on the table that's been hanging around for 2 months needs to collapse. If it does, it'll be because it needs to collapse. And maybe the reason is because there's another deal that's going to make me more money. Who knows? The important thing is that I stay brave. Does that make sense? Nyasha, welcome. And we're just talking about you and your mom, and we send hugs. And the reason I'm talking about being brave today is because I know a lot of us need to be brave this week. Now, I don't know if any of you talk at all about or spend your life thinking about Mercury being in retrograde. Do any of you know what I'm talking about on that one? For those of you, does anybody not know? Maybe I should ask that. Does anybody not know what Mercury in retrograde means? Just so that I can quickly explain it before, because it's really important this week. All right, does anybody not know what it means? Actually, let me explain it because maybe somebody on the replay will not know what it means. It basically, for those of you who follow these things, normally when Mercury goes into retrograde, it's going It's going round the wrong side of the moon is how I call it. I said. But the truth is, normally things don't go too well once Mercury goes into retrograde. And so, if you've got a lot of things that are going wrong suddenly, hi, Erin. If you've got a lot of things that are going wrong suddenly, you might want to check, is Mercury in retrograde? And what I found out, because only I can create this, right? What I found out was it goes into retrograde at the end of the month. But I am going to, it's having a bad hair day. What a great way to describe it, yes. So what I decided is I'm going to stay brave. And for all of you, you all have reasons to be brave. I am not the only one, I know that. Hi, Linda. All right, so Linda totally knows what this juggling stuff is about. She said, do I ever, Sal? 2 cars have got issues, plus the washing machine went belly up. That's so it is what it is, people. Breathe and take one step at a time. All right? Just breathe and take one step at a time. Well, I quickly find out what I did with my, there we are, with my quotes. So can you all understand that how many of you are going, if you were dealing with what I'm dealing with, that you'd be absolutely terrified this week? All right? Nyasha, don't read too much into that Mercury in retrograde thing, all right? We just talk about it because it makes it funny for us. We find it funny. Okay, Beth. Beth lives my world. I love her to bits. She said, I just made coffee, but I forgot to put the filter in. I'm making it again. How many of you have just made coffee and forgot to put the coffee in? I did a wonderful cup of hot water for one of the broadcasts once. It was really quite funny. So the question is, what have I been doing to stay brave? Well, one of the things was I've been planting cacti in egg cartons because when I move, you see, I will sell. Erin, I really believe that I will sell. It's just a case of when. And so my attitude is I'm just carrying on doing the things I want to do. And, I have just taken in all my flowers that I want to take with me, and I've been winterizing them. Do any of you get that? This is about not what I can't do, what can I do? And that's how I live my life. I'm just trying to get the quotes up here. Churchill said this. He said, success is not final. Failure is not fatal, or it can be, I guess. It is the courage to continue that counts. All right? And I want you to think about that. Wow. So Erin's got all sorts of trouble. For those of you who don't know, Erin's daddy passed not so long ago, and she's now got internet issues and all sorts of stuff. But Erin, I know you well enough. I know you well enough. It is what it is, and I know that you will take a deep breath and just go, what can I do? And forget about the stuff you can't do, because, it's not going to help. All right. Do you all understand? I can't force the sale of my house. I have to trust that my realtors are doing a great job, which I believe they are in a very difficult market. I need to trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. And the reason for the delay is to my benefit. Can you guys feel that? Now, I do want to tell you, I did make a terrible mistake yesterday. Have any of you ever made a mistake? Whenever you deal with loss, regardless of what that loss is, whether it's, a family member, a pet, whatever, loss is loss. It goes through a cycle. And, I always say to people, understand that the first year after your loss is going to be the most difficult, because you're going to have the first, Christmas, the first Thanksgiving, the first whatever. It's all going to come in. And I had forgotten something. So please take a deep breath, because I made such a big mistake. I had forgotten I have not completed my first year of being pre-diabetic. I had missed one first that was extremely important, and that was Halloween candy. You see, I went shopping yesterday while their looky-loos were looking at my house. And what is all over the shelves right now is Halloween candy. And I went, I got to get a box of that. I get a box for me. And somewhere in the evening, I managed to devour a complete packet full of mini Mars bars, which, of course, I'm not meant to. And I couldn't get control. Do any of you know that feeling where you're just on a mission? And my mission is, if you start on those things, finishing is the problem. Starting is not a problem. It's finishing that is the problem. And so what I did was, I knew that eventually my brain, if it wasn't completely messed with sugar, was going to take over and get me back to something intelligent. It took some hours. And I don't mind telling you that. And then eventually, intelligence kicked in. Okay, Jody did the same thing, right? She did Heath bars. I don't know what Heath bars are, but they sound wonderful. Kit Kats and Sour Patch Kids, right? Now, Jody also is diabetic, so she shouldn't do it. So what I did was, I immediately went to my guru, which is Jody, of course, and said, okay, what do I do now? Because obviously I have, Beth found the caramel stroop waffles. Oh, yes, they're nice. Stroop waffles, that is syrup in Dutch. And for those of you who don't know Dutch, I'm multilingual apparently. Stroop is Dutch for syrup. So those are the syrup waffles. They are caramel syrup waffles. I mean, I better go to the dollar store because they sound fantastic. I could handle a few of those. Anyway, I did eventually get control. That was the good news. I did take my blood sugar to see how bad it was. It was double what it should be. And then I decided, okay, I can do this. I just have to make a few plans. I need to get brave and trust that I have the self-control to be able to handle this. And I made a commitment to myself that I would not have another candy until my blood sugar was back to where it was meant to be. And I'm pleased to report that it already is. However, I'm not going to have any more candy today. I'm going to try and only have candy every other day, but I am going to enjoy it, because life, as Jody taught me, even when you are pre-diabetic or diabetic, life goes on. You can still have moments. It's how quickly can you recover from them that's important. A brave man acknowledges the strength of others. You see, when you're feeling a little weak, it's really good to have friends that are strong. How many of you have found that out? It's like you need somebody near you that understands you and understands your fears, and also is kind enough to help you get your feet back on the ground again. And of course, for me, that was Jody yesterday, and for which I am duly thankful. A big round of applause for Jody, because, with all that's going on in her life and all her medical issues and everything, she still manages to look after me remarkably well. Are any of you Game of Thrones people? And because there were lots of really great lessons in Game of Thrones, And I really want to tell you that sometimes you need to go rewatch these things just so that you can learn the lessons the second time, all right? Just literally take a notebook and go, how many lessons did I learn in this? I used to say I was doing a seminar once on, actually it was a weekend, and it was on salesmanship. And what I did is in the evening, I actually put up the movie of An Officer and a Gentleman for everybody to see. And I split the whole of the audience up into different groups of people. And I had them all work on different aspects of salesmanship. You know, how many people, I had one group of people looking at the openings. How did they approach, approaching people? I had people looking at objections. When were they cut down? What did they do about it? And I literally had different parts of a sale being watched. And the next day, they all did a presentation. And what I believe, because you know that of me, but I believe life has all the lessons. We just need to wake up and see them. So in the Game of Thrones, getting there eventually, it was said that fear cuts deeper than swords. So what that basically means is that I could be literally putting myself into a really sick place by worrying myself sick, literally. And I choose not to do that. And I'm hoping that Nyasha will not do that with her mum. I hope that she will love her to health rather than worry herself sick. Does that make sense? And, Beth, you are a bigger person in your life. You know that now. And therefore, you're going to always encounter these negative people who will try to cut you down. But the good news is you are Beth. Right? And there's a reason why you're their boss, because you are Beth and you think like an adult. And I look at all of this and go, if you understand this, you are in a better place. Beth is saying that fear stops you in your tracks and emotions are put on hold until you overcome them. I want to tell you that my rational brain went on hold over the candy. So how about this one? Don't be afraid of your fears. They are not there to scare you. They are there to let you know that something is worth it. How about that? They're not there to scare you. They're there to remind you that this is an important thing in your life. With Nyasha's mum going in to have an operation, all right, what Nyasha's feeling is love for her mother. Erin, I don't mean to minimize, Erin, your bravery, because a lot of people won't know that you are already, coping with, a medical condition that has you unable to walk on all these other things, and you have the loss of your daddy, and your mom's already passed. So you've got all sorts of stuff going on. But I trust you at a level that I don't trust many people, and you know that. So I send you hugs, and I'm always there. But you see, I know that you can smile through it all. I know that you have that ability. For example, Erin's busy writing to me, Reese's and French fries. And I think I'm like the only restricted diet. So soon the new medication is raising up her sugar. So, you know, it's like, you know, you got to live, Erin, and it's okay to smile. All right, so Beth is saying it's just like if you have a pain in your body. It's letting you know to stop and find out why you are in pain. Seek first to understand. Well done, Beth. I love it when you quote me back. All right, Stephen King said about writing, you can, you should, and if you are brave enough to start, you will. If you are brave enough to start, you will. Some of you know that I have actually written a couple of books. And you know, the funny thing is that one of them became a bestseller. It sold over 5,000 copies. And it's out of print, and I've never reissued it. But, you know, it's like, my second book, I had it all on, you know, one of those small discs. What was it called? 3.5-inch disc or something. You know, and somebody borrowed it because they were going to transcribe it for me and lost it. But you see, I am a writer. I know that. You know how I know that? The first book I wrote, I actually sent it to the Library of Congress, and they accepted it. How brave was that? So, you know, it's really quite funny because it's like, yeah, you don't think I'm an author? The Library of Congress thinks I am. So how many of you are chuckling, going, only Sal would do that? I was absolutely stunned that they accepted it. But they didn't know that I wasn't important, which apparently I am. All right, Nyasha is saying she's trying not to overwhelm, you know, with her fear. I'm here lying down listening to you, and my mind just wandered for a sec, but I'm back now. Normally I am a scared individual, but lately I'm finding out I'm braver than before. I want to tell you something, Nyasha, with tears in my eyes that you can probably see. I want to tell you, you are way braver than you ever knew. And you just needed to be amongst people who could see it. And you needed us to remind you every now and then just how smart you are, you know, rather than how stupid you are. And so that's why we're in your life. You are ready for us now. Jim Morrison of The Doors said, expose yourself to your deepest fear. After that, fear has no power. And the fear of freedom shrinks and vanishes. You are free. So think for a moment. I've got this huge deal with lots of zeros on it that would give me, you know, a lot of freedom. And in order to cope with it, I just had to keep asking, what is my biggest fear? And then ask myself, what if you didn't have that fear? You see, I didn't realize it before, but that's why I love doing the work with you guys. Fear is a choice. Think about that. Think about that. You can choose not to be fearful. And I can hear at least one person going, yes, but. Can anybody see that fear is a choice? You know, I can literally be putting myself into all sorts of terrible situations right now. But, you know, it was like, Erin, when her daddy passed. I know this sounds really weird, but I knew enough about Erin to not have to worry about her too much. I knew she would grieve. I didn't have to worry about her going into the fear stuff. Because Erin, I know, is smart enough and emotionally intelligent enough to be able to go, yeah, but Erin said, yeah, I said yes, but yeah. But Erin, why did I know? You see, I know you better than you think I do. Wow, and he's just saying, I don't mean to make you cry. Well, no, I make myself cry, honey. You don't do that to me. But I'm believing that too, because unknown to me, I was preparing myself to become an adult through your channel for this moment. My mum's surgery and becoming a godmom. Yeah. I mean, I'm so proud of you, honey. So breathe. You can choose not to be fearful. You see, I know that anytime anybody goes under an operation situation, it can be a risk, but so can going outside. So can going to sleep. One of the interesting things when my brother was here, I was telling him about my, I'm in the bedroom, my CPAP machine, right? And I said, he had reason to have to wake me up one day. And I said, you're going to wake me up and I'm going to be wearing my Darth Vader costume. And he went, what? And, and I showed him and I said, this, I can't put it on over this, but, I was saying, this is what keeps me alive at night. It keeps me breathing. And he went, really? And I said, yeah, apparently I stopped breathing about 15 times an hour. And, this thing keeps me breathing. And it was so funny because the look on his face was, wow. So I said, so please forgive me. I'm not going to not wear it so I don't frighten you. Just see what it looks like. Don't be frightened. You see, fear is a choice. Now, you can have a lot of other emotions around it, but just don't have fear. Wow, it's interesting. Listen to Nyasha. What a change, right? Despite I'm not well physically. No, none of us is well physically, Nyasha. You're not alone. MamaSal, before this, I was a marshmallow, always crying, scared, fearful, and a lot more. So again, I say thank you for this. Thank everybody, right? Thank the room, because this, Dear MamaSal, is not just about me. I know. It's about us, and we're all growing and we're all learning, Nyasha. I think you will find, to your surprise, that everybody in this chat room has been growing, emotionally, not just you. So now, Jody, I wonder if you could just take a couple of words of this quote down, because I want this to be my quote of the week in terms of being brave. Listen up, everybody. Are you ready to hear this? Listen up. Take a deep breath. Scared is what you're feeling. Brave is what you're doing. Scared is what you're feeling, but brave is what you're doing. One of the things I find incredible, I've read a lot of autobiographies of people who have won the Victoria Cross for bravery in a state of war. And almost without exception, they will say that they actually didn't see what they were doing was brave, when they were saving their fellow man against, incredible odds. They already thought they were going to be dead. Therefore, let them go down doing something good. Do any of you relate to that? So it was like, look, if I'm going to die, let me die doing something really good. And maybe even stupid. But the thing was that they did it and they survived. And then, people wanted to give them the Victoria Cross for bravery, and a lot of them refused it for that reason. Because they said, actually, I wasn't brave. I thought I was going to die, and I wanted to go down doing something good. How many of you can see the humor in that? And also the humility in that. I could totally relate to that. I mean, if you knew for sure that you were going to die on Tuesday, wouldn't you be, doing some good things right now? You know what I mean? It's just like, it's human nature, that is what you would do. So fear against the impossible is my fear. How will it help anything? Right? Yes. And the same thing as Erin is saying, that sometimes you just don't have any choice, right? You've got to deal with it because you don't have any choice. I've got to deal with what's coming here because I don't have any choice. But I can choose whether I'm going to scare myself stupid or not. And so this is why I love this quote. Scared is what you are feeling. And that's okay. Brave is what you are doing to cope with it. I want to know if that makes sense to anybody. I think it's such a great quote. Scared is what you're feeling, but brave is what you are doing. And I've added on to cope with being scared. You see, as long as we keep moving forward, as long as we can go, hey, I'm scared. Who wouldn't be? Erin, of course you're scared of all the things you're making decisions on. Who wouldn't be? Nyasha, of course you're scared for your mom. Who wouldn't be? Look at this. It's not about being scared. Scared is normal, right? Scared is, we all get scared. It's, do you have the backbone to go, even though I'm scared, I'm going to hang on here, knowing it's going to work out somehow. Knowing at a very deep level that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. Knowing at some very deep level that all of this is right and important in your life. Beth is saying, replace fear with trust in yourself and faith. No matter what happens, stay calm. It will pass, and you will be stronger after. You see, I really do believe that that is what's kept me in the place that I'm in. And Jody's saying, this is so powerful, Sal. Thank you. It's my pleasure. And, normally I do something a little different on a Sunday, but when I trusted myself and said, what do I need to talk about today? Because it's Soul Sunday. And I just got, you need to talk about bravery. And I'm going, no, that's not a Soul Sunday subject. And I'm going, it doesn't matter. Today, you need to talk about bravery. And I went, How many of you can sort of see me going, really? And I do fight with myself, people. I need you to know that. There are so many ways to be brave in this world. Sometimes bravery involves laying down your life for something bigger than yourself or for someone else. Sometimes it involves giving up everything you have ever known or everyone you have ever loved for the sake of something greater. But sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it is nothing more than gritting your teeth through pain and the work of every day and the slow walk towards a better life. That is the sort of bravery I must have now. Okay. That's from the author, Veronica Roth. So do you understand? This is like, we all face these fears. We all need to be brave because we all get scared. Now, we get scared at different levels. Remember what I said on Friday about, how far are you up your mountain? We all get scared as we climb our mountains, and we're all climbing different ones. Therefore, we all need to be brave. Why? Beth is saying, oh no, first of all, Jody's saying, I'm feeling this on a very personal level, and it is hitting home. Erin is saying, I'm terrified, but if I didn't do it, both my parents would come back down here and kick my butt. They're already doing that, Erin. I know you can feel that. And the same as I know that you can feel my hugs when I send them. And so we're all there with you. We're all helping you grit your teeth and just, this too shall pass. You will be through all of this in about a year. And, in the meantime, you can choose to just do the best you can, which is all any of us ask of you. Not do it better than Sal would, not do it better than your daddy would, not do it better than Beth would. This is about, I just need to do the best I can. And I say the same to Nyasha as she's coping with the fear of her mom going through an operation. Beth's daughter went through an operation last week. Nyasha, I don't know if you know that. And you see, Beth, I'm sure, was fearful at some level as well. But it's about coping is what we do, isn't it? DearMamaSal is all about how do we cope with life? Because life brings us these things. Life brings us diagnoses that we don't want on our health. Life brings us people in our life that are going to treat us unfairly. Life brings us fearful situations. It's okay to be scared. Just keep moving forward. Mark Twain said, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. I know that some of you understand that, there is an expression that says, life will never send you more than you can cope with. And I don't know about the rest of you. Have any of you ever gone, I really, don't want to cope with all of this now? Even if you think I can, it's not really what I wanted. And then they go, okay, yes, I do. Because the alternative is that maybe he'll take me out so I don't have to cope with it anymore. So I go, okay, fine, I'll deal with it. And so you are stronger than you think you are. You are braver than you think you are. And you are stronger in every way than you really think you are. I am so aware that I could be frightening myself stupid right now. And that's what it would be. Frightening myself stupid. All right, so Erin's saying it sounds crazy, but if they offer me a place at Davis House, and this company that I love pretty much would be, you'd be moving back to the desert. And it could be any day now if they offer you a place. Yes, and I'm pretty sure, Erin, that with the relationships that you have made, that one of your questions is, who's going to do my hair? Right? It's like, excuse me, I've just got this friend trained to do my hair, and she does such a good job. Who's going to do my hair? Well, I think you're going to train somebody else. Let somebody else practice on you. You see, it's maybe about you giving your hair to somebody else so they can learn, rather than, now that you've had somebody who's an expert at it, you can teach somebody else because now you know how it's done. So let us know, Erin. And Jody, perhaps you could make a note that we can put some thoughts and prayers up. It is what you want to do, Erin. Is that correct? I gather that because you're saying if they offer you a place, which means you must want them to do that. So we'll put out some thoughts and prayers for that. And it's good to hear Beth is telling us that her daughter is doing great. So that's wonderful. How many of you agree that courage is found in the most unlikely places? I don't know about you, but I didn't have it on my goal plan for the year. I didn't have it on my goal plan for the year. Learn how to be calm against all odds. It wasn't on the list. How about you guys? Did you have it on your list? Erin, I'm pretty sure you didn't have to have it on your list, to do what you're doing this year. So, it's about, excuse me, that didn't quite go down the way it was meant to. So, it's all about courage is found in the most unlikely places because it's found inside ourselves when we didn't know we had it. Mahatma Gandhi said, "Let every act of every morning be to make the following resolve for the day. I shall not fear anyone on earth. I shall fear only God. I shall not bear ill will towards anyone. I shall conquer untruth by truth." I left one out, I'm sorry. "I shall not submit to injustice from anyone. I shall conquer untruth by truth. And in resisting untruth, I shall put up with all suffering." You see, when we know it's okay to be scared, then it's amazing that we don't have to fear anymore. It's okay to be scared. I have no reason to fear. Nasha, do you understand the difference in those? And Erin, if you truly believe, which I believe you do, that, God has a plan for you, that you will know whether you get that place or not is the right thing. You know what I mean? There is no bad way. And it's interesting, Erin saying that's exactly what one of your CNA said, your assistants, right, said that when I told her I might be moving, the one who did my hair before, she started crying. And she said, she's going to do your hair because you have to look pretty. Yeah. Well, you always do, Erin. Well, no, I haven't seen you first thing in the morning. Maybe you're not so pretty first thing in the morning. Pretty interesting, but not pretty, right? All right, now Beth is saying, "I never thought I would find the courage from within myself, but one day it happened." And Erin is saying, "Yes, this is my decision." Way to go, girl. We are so, really, we are so proud of you, Erin. You go, girl. Nelson Mandela said, "I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but to triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid. It is he who conquers the fear." You see, how much of my brain could I have tied up in fear right now? Right? How much of it could I begin? What if, the what if monster. Yeah, but what if, and then how do I, and I'm going, don't even worry about it. Because the truth is, I have thought through a lot of those what ifs, because that's what I do. And that's what you do too. And some of these things are here to teach you to ask yourself, what if? All right? Thank you, Jody. Jody's just given a contribution, and I thank you for that, Jody. She says, here's to all the courageous people. Yeah. But you see, we all have scary moments, and we could all what if ourselves into insanity. Because the truth is, what if it doesn't? I could be going, what if I run out of money? Well, you're getting pretty close now, Sal. Yes, but what if I don't? Or what plans have I put in place already, and what plans do I still need to put in place in case this drags on for another 3 or 6 months? You see, that's what I'm concentrating on, not the fear, but the solutions. Does that make sense, people? It's not about the fear. It's about what you still need to put in place so you can be without a whole lot of fear. I can assure you that I know an awful lot of people who would love to have my problem, right? Would love to have equity in a home that I can probably walk into almost any lending situation that isn't a bank, and just go, okay, this is the collateral, this is the equity I have in my home. I need to borrow some money, please. Yeah. J.K. Rowling in Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone said, Harry, you're a great wizard, I'm not as good as you, said Harry, very embarrassed as she let go of him. Me, said Hermione, books and cleverness? There are more important things. Friendship and bravery and, oh, Harry, be careful. And Oscar Wilde, who we know had a funny slant on almost everything, said, yet each man kills the thing he loves. By each, let this be heard. Some do it with a bitter look, some with a flattering word. The coward does it with a kiss, and the brave man with a sword. You see, we all have different ways of dealing with our stuff. And this is what life is about. It's about our stuff. We don't have to worry about, am I learning the right things? You see, I really have learned that life brings you the things you need to learn about. And by the way, if you don't get the lesson right the first time, have you noticed it brings it again? Erin's saying, I never look pretty first thing in the morning. Yeah, I know that feeling. But we're pretty inside. Well, not always. And Veronica Roth, again, in Insurgent, said, no matter how long you train someone to be brave, you never know if they are or not until something real happens. Okay? And you see, that's what life is bringing you. It's bringing you real situations to see whether you've passed Bravery 101. If so, then guess what? Start studying for Bravery 102 because it's coming. Because we're constantly learning. Andrew Solomon said, listen to the people who love you. Believe that they are worth living for, even when you don't believe it. Seek out the memories depression takes away and project them onto the future. Be brave. Be strong. Take your pills. Exercise because it's good for you, and every step even if every step weighs 1,000 pounds, eat when food itself disgusts you. Reason with yourself when you have lost your reason. Oh, that was me last night. All right, trying to get to my reasonable part of my brain to stop me from eating that candy because there was a whole box there, a big box. And it was just like, that's what I was praying for. I kept saying, please God, give me the mental strength to stop eating these. And I could hear, I'm going, you're strong enough to stop doing that, Sal. And then my kid was going, yeah, but that's candy. And I was so scared that I wasn't going to be able to stop eating them. All right, so Beth is saying, sometimes you won't know you're being brave. You just do what is right for you. You see, and that is the whole thing. I think the whole learning is, if I didn't believe that everything that is happening in my life right now is there for a reason and it is for my greater good, that even though it might not be the way that I had planned it, it will be for my greater good, then I have no reason to be fearful. It is hard to fail, but it is worse never to have tried to succeed. I was talking, Benji came to visit us on a couple of broadcasts, both the broadcasts on Friday. And, he apparently, I was in Walmart yesterday and I got a phone call and I'm looking at it and I'm going, that's Benji. And I'm going, how can he be calling me? Because he's, still overseas. And then I sent him a text back and said, did you just try and call me? And he said, yes, no problem. Don't worry about it. And I said, I'm sorry, I'm in Walmart, which is why I didn't hear when he called. And he said, no, don't worry about it. So I said, okay, fine. I got home. And guess what? On my doorstep at home, there were 2 presents from China. So not only had he phoned me, he'd phoned me from my front door to find out where I was. Right. So, and it's just like, I chose not to be sad, right? I chose to be happy that he was kind enough to leave me the presents. And I literally said, now I understand, right? You're not in China anymore. It's a bit like, we're not in Kansas anymore. Isn't that beautiful? Erin says, I got some amazing pictures the other day of my dad in Key Club and my dad in track and field in high school. And then I just got some pictures of his little league team. Isn't that beautiful? And Jody is reminding me that if you are enjoying this broadcast, and if you love DearMamaSal's wisdom, please hit the like button. And mobile. How did I do? Please tell me I got it right. Boom, 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 boom. But I don't know from where. I know it's mobile now. I think I know it's mobile. Oh, it's Mo-Mel? Mo-Mo? Why did I think it was mobile? Washington, D.C. That takes me a bit longer, honey. See, it's the M that's important, right? Okay, so now we're going to find out whether it's Mo-Mel or Mobile. Mo-Mel. I bet you Jody's right. She's very clever. All right, so here we're talking about fear today. And Harper Lee said in To Kill a Mockingbird, said, it was times like these when I thought my father, who hated guns and never had been to any wars, was the bravest man who ever lived. Yes, I remembered it because you told me that it rhymed with noble. Therefore, it's mobile. Did I get it right? It's like you're on a mobile. Or mobile. No, mobile. Well done. Mobile is on her mobile in Washington, D.C. I'm going to have to link that all together somehow. Rick Reardon wrote, she also called me brave, unless she was talking to the catfish. It's like, have anybody called you brave when you're going, what? Me, brave? You see, sometimes what we see is quite normal. Other people see as incredibly brave. You see, Erin doesn't have any choice in a lot of things that she does because of her physical disabilities. And I'm saying disability because she is not able to use about 3/4 of her body. So, she doesn't have a lot of choices that we have. But she doesn't see that as being brave, that she gets up every day and rolls over as far as she can so that she's a bit, and then knows that she can't roll over for very long because she'll be uncomfortable. She doesn't think about this being brave. This is her life. Am I right, Erin? You don't wake up in the morning and say, I think I'll be brave today, and I think I'll move. No, you see, it is just her life. It's what life has brought her, and it's what she needs to deal with if she wants to continue her journey. And so, to me, when you can see that, Beth, if you had never taken the risk to do your job well, you would never have been promoted, and you would not be dealing with some of the challenges that you're dealing with now. Think about that. But you see, you do a good job and you got promoted, and that's what being a manager is about. Not everybody's going to like you. And especially if you tell them what they're doing wrong. Definitely. Mobile saying, MamaSal, I wanted to tell you that you once said that if somebody has a problem, that you have not to get too emotionally burdened after listening to it. Oh, yeah, and that's so that you collapse and then you can't help them in return. Absolutely. People ask me that more than anything. Mobile. They asked me, how do I cope with all the I remember Judy asking me that in tears. She was literally reading one of my emails one day that somebody had sent. She was in tears, and she looked at me and she said, how do you do this? How do you read these and help people with things so terrible going on in their lives? And I said, it's not my job to buy into it. It's my job to help them. And Mobile saying, an issue came up today where you used the technique, well done, because you got quite overwhelmed. So this relates to today's topic. Yeah, I was so busy telling myself this wasn't a topic for a Sunday, but my inner voice said, oh, yes, it is. People need this. It is today's topic. So there. And I went, but it's Soul Sunday. And I go, no, you will do this topic today. And I went, okay, fine. They'll forgive me. I had great, I really had great knowledge that you guys would forgive me almost anything. And so I just wanted to, while I think about it, just say that we've got some birthdays coming up. And obviously the closest one now, it would be Kerry's birthday on Halloween, 31st, right? All right, so Erin's saying, no, ma'am, I do not consider myself... brave. I think that's what you tried to say. It's not what your voice system said, that you don't consider yourself brave. And you just consider yourself a total baby, right? And yet anybody I know that knows you thinks you're incredibly brave. Right, Mobile, you got it. Well done. May I repeat that? I don't want to do that without your permission. Mobile. So just tell me yes if I may repeat it. And Jody is saying, Erin, you are so brave. You see, in somebody else's eyes, you are. I don't see myself as brave at all. Right? And yet I'm amazed how many people see me as brave. Okay. Are you sure? Give me a second yes. That's pretty personal stuff. So I just want to be doubly sure. Why am I asking for a second confirmation? Okay, I got it. So Mobile said that the friend of whom she spoke said, and by the way, this is almost somebody that's like a sister to her, got physically abused by her husband. And Mobile saying she got very upset for her. And then she realized that that doesn't help her at all. It's like shouting at the guy who just cut you off when you're driving down the street. You can shout all you like and give yourself a heart attack in your anger, but the truth is he's already 5 miles away. Shouting at a bad driver does nothing except raise your blood pressure. And so, well done, Mobile. Give yourself a gold star from DearMamaSal for seeing that getting caught up in her hamster wheel does not help you or her. Well done. I'm not sure what you said, but I find when I hear something like that, I go, how can I support you right now? That's the only thing that matters to me, Mobile, is how can I support you right now? Oprah Winfrey said, the biggest adventure you can ever take is to live the life of your dreams. You know, it's really funny. I have always wanted to be able to do this and to do it on my terms, not on commercial terms. I always wanted to just help those that needed help. And I honestly have always believed that the people who needed the help would find us. How many of you have been amazed how many people have been through our doors, and some of them have, come in, taken what they needed and gone straight out the revolving door and on with their life. And I don't feel that is wrong, because what I know is whenever they need us, they know where to find us, because we are consistent. We are here. And if you've ever found us, you know where to find us again. And so, I look at it and I have never, ever worried. And I've always believed that the people who need us will find us. And I remember saying that a number of times to Jody, don't worry. Don't worry. When they need us, they will find us. And I just hit a button that I shouldn't have done, and I'm on my laptop. So when I'm on my laptop, that's the wrong button. But I can do this. So if you have that faith, do you understand you don't need to be fearful? I am pretty certain that an awful lot of people would not have that mentality about being on YouTube. By the way, every now and then YouTube will tell me, that they don't like one of my videos. And I just write to them and I go, you may want to check it to make sure. And guess what? I think only one of all the videos I've done, only one of them did they really have a problem with. And I can't remember what was in it. But, I couldn't really, it wasn't worth fighting them over it. It actually wasn't in any way wrong. It was just the way they saw it was wrong. Right. And Mobile saying, that's true, Mama Sal, you're always there for us. Well, not always. I started watching you in the beginning of medical school. I keep coming back when I need you. Isn't that awesome? And we are better for you visiting. You do know that, right? It's not a one-way thing. And Beth is saying most people just need someone to listen to them, not to solve it, just a shoulder to cry on. Too many people think that they need to solve the problem, but it's not the case. All right? How many of you know, that's something that a lot of men don't understand. They need to fix it. I was asked on Friday, how did I meet Benji? And I was telling the story, but I'd like to tell you a little bit more of the story, and I'm certain he will be fine with it because, it is a pivotal part of our relationship. Benji did so well in this leadership thing that he ended up being the head facilitator on this thing. So that was a few years later. And, there was a group that had a project, and the project was taking longer than the time allowed for it. But owing to the fact it was into the night, I didn't worry about it because, when you're on a mission and when you have passion, you don't care about what the time is. You just keep going until it's done. And so this is really funny because we had this lady there, and some of you might have heard the story, so forgive me, but, we had this lady there, and we were building a wheelchair ramp to a building. That's what our project was. And when I sort of got all the participants together, I said, okay, fine. Who has used, a chop saw? And they were looking at me and going, what? I want to know who has used one. Anybody? No, none of you. Okay, so I'm going to do a lesson for all of you on how to use a chop saw, what to be careful of. And I did that. And then who has used a drill? And people go, are you serious? I go, yeah. Nobody. I go, okay, fine. And I just, had this team of people, and none of them had ever used the equipment. I think there were a couple of people who'd used a drill, I think. But, basically chop saws and cutting wood and doing that. I said, we're going to learn so much tonight. But the first thing you need to learn is how to be safe, because if you're safe, then everything else is fun. We had this one woman, when her daddy had never let her use a drill. I'm not joking. Never. She'd always wanted to, and she had never been allowed to. And I said, well, you're my drill lady then, because by the time this night is finished, you're going to be an expert with that drill. I want to tell you, she had the ability to put a nail, not a nail, a screw into a piece of wood with one hand and go straight in, and they were all perfectly lined up. Right? You got the idea. She was having an absolute ball. Hi, Shalina. Good to see you. She was really enjoying it. However, we were running late into the night. So Benji, now head facilitator, the fact that I was, guru and poobah, doesn't matter. But Benji came along to help. Man thing, right? And guess what? He sees this lady with the drill and he says, give me that. I know how to do that quickly. He picked up the drill and he was just about to start doing the job when I walked across to him, as you all can imagine. And with my arms crossed, I leant down to his ear and I said, let me tell you about leadership. Leadership is not proving that you can do something better than somebody else. Leadership is not a title. Leadership is when you allow people to learn for themselves. When you teach them the skill that you have, that, my friend, is leadership. Now give the drill back, because she is awesome. And it's the first time she has ever used a drill, and she is brilliant. I doubt that you could beat her. She is that good. So do me a favor, give her back the drill and go back to being a head facilitator, not an idiot. And he just, Benji, right? He just gave me that look. And you know how many times I've had to remind him of that in his life. He was 18 when I met him. You know how many times in his lifetime I've had to remind him of that. Oh yeah, this is like the drill moment, Bench. Let go. Let somebody else learn. Let go and let somebody else learn. And so, I look at it and I go, but he still loves me, for which I'm very grateful. You understand? It's like, trust people to be able to do it, right? Beth is saying, being a perfectionist, that was the worst issue for me, not solving the problem, but by being a perfectionist. How many of you relate to what Beth is saying? Beth, I heard an expression that getting it done is more important than doing it perfectly, right? Getting it done, right, is better than doing it perfectly. I have never, the most important speech I ever gave, Beth, in 20 years of professional speaking, and the one most people enjoyed, was a speech I used to give called, "You Don't Have to Be Perfect." That's what I was known for. A speech that was called, "You Don't Have to Be Perfect." By the way, another one that I was quite well known for is, "Don't pitch your tent on a cactus patch." And you all know I did it. Getting it done is better than doing it perfectly. Yeah. Just so, remember what we always say. And that is that work on what you can do. If you can finish it, don't worry about finishing it perfectly. Can I finish it? Can I do it? How many of you have got half-finished projects in your cupboards, drawers, workshops, whatever, storage unit? How many of you have got half-finished projects and the reason it's half-finished was something went wrong? That's the reason you stopped doing it. But you didn't want to throw it away because you spent money on it. And so you told yourself the great lie. And the great lie is, I'll go back and finish it another day. At the moment we begin to fear the opinions of others and hesitate to tell the truth that is in us, and from the motives of policy are silent, and when we should speak, the divine floods of light and life no longer flow into our souls. I read that really badly. It's unusual for me. I'll try it one more time. Perfection is not necessary, but I would like to get it slightly better. The moment we begin to fear the opinions of others and hesitate to tell the truth that is in us, and from motives of policy are... You know why? It doesn't make sense. That's why I didn't read it well. And from motives of policy are silent when we should speak, the divine floods of light and life no longer flow into our souls. Somebody's going to understand that, and it's not me. Jody says, I am the half-finished project queen of New England. I have had, one of the biggest things I did when I was downsizing, Jody, was go, how many years ago did I tell myself I was going to finish that jacket? Apparently when I was a size 10. I'm going, who am I kidding? I can remember finding a half-sewn pair of shorts, because I used to make my own clothes. And I'm looking at it going, that's probably 30 years ago. I think it's time for that to go. I had such fun just going, it's time for it to go. And the guilt went with it. All right, so Beth's saying, lately I've been in a funk, just starting to start a project is a challenge. But that's okay. Yes, you will know that you are healthier when you start a project, right? Because you'll know you have control over your brain. Beth, that's, I make sure that once a week I do something creative. I always have things I ought to be doing, Beth. I always have, well, I really do need to tidy this up. And I go, no, one day a week you will start with being creative. And so to me, I work hard at making it a priority one day a week. Oh, you didn't know that I used to make my own clothes? Yes, I used to do them quite well, apparently. And in fact, one of the things that I'm looking forward to, I've got to tell you a really weird thing. You see, it's how my brain works. How many of you know I'm always looking for the better mousetrap? I will see things and I go, I think I could do that better. Well, I decided part of my thing about not wasting so much, not putting so much into the landfill, whatever, was that I would stop using disposable panty liners. And I would start getting reusable ones. And now I got some and I don't like that because, whatever. And okay, fine. So then I bought some more. And, that's nice, but I don't like, they're not long enough for me. And, what I realized was after the third lot that I now knew what I needed as a panty liner that nobody, I don't think, has done. And so I designed, how many of you know this of me, right? So I designed my own and I bought the little punch things to make the snap it things and everything. And I didn't even bother to get the sewing machine out and finish them. I wanted to know, did the logic work? Right? And guess what? It does. And I'm going, I can't believe I did that. But it's like I knew what wasn't working for me, and I kept saying, but I don't like the way, it doesn't absorb properly, or I don't like the way that. And I went, okay, so what do you need that it will? And it was really amazing. So that's what I've done, and I am at the stage now where I'm actually, with your help, I'm actually going to clear the way into the cupboard in my studio, which has been closed off with a shelving, because in there, in my sewing machine and my serger. Now, I'm probably not going to remember how to use my serger, but my sewing machine I could use. And I am going to actually make some soon, very soon. Make some more. Because even my ones that weren't sewn, they were just folded. They work. And I'm going, I've been using them for about 3 months now, and they still work. And it's just like, wow. All right, how about keep in mind that many people have died for their beliefs? It's actually quite common. The real courage is in living and suffering for what you believe. Jody says, Erin says, Jody, send me the quote when you get them, please. I'm currently eating dinner in the dining room and everybody wants to know who the British personal stylist service lady on my phone is. Well, hi, people. I'm Sal. Yeah, we will definitely send you the quotes. And, hi to everybody. And I don't normally broadcast from my bedroom, but yeah, life has a few issues going on for me at the moment. Technical issues that require that I'm hotwired into my system. Without fear, there can be no courage. Does that make sense? You see, if you don't have fear, you don't have to be courageous. Think about that. If you don't have fear, you don't have to have courage. You see, if you are feeling the need to be brave, it means that you have overcome some level of fear to realize that you need a bit more bravery to overcome it now. That means that life has challenged you and you didn't turn around and go, oh, I don't think so. You went, okay, fine. What do I need to do now? Because I need a bit more courage. So fear is a needed emotion. Yeah, it's okay to be scared. I want to tell you, when I closed my kitchen door one day in Africa and saw a king cobra rise up with its hood, ready to spit at me, I want to tell you, I was good and scared. Right? That's called smart, Beth. This thing can kill me. Right? If it bites me, it can kill me. Yes, please. Oh, Yvonne found the Halloween candies I left on the dryer. Yeah. Bring that. Oh, you want that straw? Yes. I left Yvonne and Wade some Halloween candy on the dryer downstairs. I knew she'd find them eventually. Yeah, so fear, you understand. So I was good and scared when I saw the king cobra. That lasted for a split second. I assure you, when I picked up the broom and I smashed it, it wasn't because I believe in violence. It is because I had 3 children in the house.
Survival.
That's what it's about. Thank you for this, Bunny. For those of you who don't know, this is my frosty treat. Thank you so much. And I won't be able to suck on it for at least half an hour, but I'm going to keep trying.
I know.
By the way, there are more. If they're not enough to go around all of you, then there are more in the downstairs fridge. And the sooner we finish them,
the better it is.
The better it is for all of us. Okay, Yvonne's going to have a look at the cacti now. Look at this. Nosy little so-and-so, Yvonne. Say hi to the people, Yvonne, because you're in camera. You might as well lean down a little bit more. There you go. Jody says hi.
Hello.
For those of you who don't know, Yvonne is my dear friend who lives downstairs in my house and has done for how many years now?
22 years.
22 years.
It's about 23.
Did you see my note about the bios?
No, but I'm gonna.
Goodbye.
Yeah. The table looks very nice.
What does?
The table. That table.
Oh, thank you. So you understand that fear, to go back to Beth's question, fear is very good, right? It's a warning. It's a heads up. Hello. This could be dangerous. It was, the king cobra is dangerous. It can kill me. So therefore, what it does, it sets off in your body, it sets off your adrenaline and gives you, as you've probably heard, the fear of the fight or flight reaction. All right. So you're either going to run away from what scares you, or you're going to get in there and fight what scares you. Now, the point I was making about Erin, and Erin, a lot of things that are going on with her life, she doesn't have the option to run away from trying to sort out her dad's things because he's passed. Right? She doesn't have the option. So she's still allowed to feel scared because that's, normal. She realizes that these are important decisions and she could make a mistake. But what she has to doesn't have to. What she chooses to see is, yeah, I could make a mistake, but it's not going to be the end of the world. You can see that I'm getting nowhere with this yet, but I will. All right, so Erin is saying, don't worry, I showed them the pictures and I'm currently telling them about Vegas and Baker and Deliverance and the Deliverance song. It wasn't a song, it was a piece of music, the banjos. Dueling banjos. It was not a song, it was an instrumental. And believe you me, I could hear it when I was in Baker. But it was the way that the movie camera people sent the tumbleweed across the road, as I was in fear of my life in Baker. That really got me. And then, to take a corner, people, you have to know, this is when I went to go and visit Erin, and I took a corner, and, there was like 6 crosses on the corner. This is not a good place to be. 6 people, had put up crosses here. And then I took the next corner, and there were another 5 on the next corner. And then they did it again. And it was like, what is it about Erin? I don't know. Yeah, I think there are two bits of music that will stick in your minds if you ever watch the movies. One is the dueling banjos out of Deliverance, and secondly, the Jaws, sound that they made when the sharks were about to attack. You never forget it. If you've seen the movies, you're never going to forget them. So I did it again, didn't I? All right. What I'm going to do, because Jody asked me to do that, and I like to obey her occasionally, not all the time, but sometimes, is just to make sure that we do the countdown for those of you who weren't there for the Friday ones, all right? So Easter is 5 months away, people. For those of you like Sal, who don't want to do winter, but live in the Northern Hemisphere, we just have 143 days until spring. We have just 3 months to go before Valentine's Day. Isn't that great? And for those of you who have not finished your Christmas shopping, 58 days left. For those of you in North America, or rather in USA, you have 1 month and 1 day until Thanksgiving. And for those of us who live for spring, we have just 7 days until daylight saving time. That's next weekend will be daylight savings time, which brings us that much closer to spring. I always think about that. Oh, look, the clocks are going back. We're closer to spring. Yeah, Beth is saying, I've got that music stuck in my head now from the Jaws movie. Yeah, once we've ever heard that piece of music, they were very good. They were really very good because they only played it when the shark was about to attack. So be scared, be very scared when you hear that music. And by the way, for those of you who have family or friends overseas, please remember to get your cards into the mail by the end of November. It would be really safe for almost anywhere. I would recommend it. So I'm hoping that you have enjoyed today's broadcast, even though it wasn't what I intended to do originally. But I did feel in my gut that it was a broadcast that we needed to do anyway. And so I ask you to remember that it's quite normal to be scared. And what you need is the bravery to move forward. I have every reason to be scared of what's happening with the money invested in my house, all right? Except if I choose to believe that it's all happening for a good reason, maybe I will end up with more money or a better place, or I'll be happier. Then I don't need to be scared. What I need to do is just make a plan. And so, Nyasha, don't be scared for your mommy. Just ask God for the strength to make it through until she's better. That's what you need, is the strength. And we send you ours and our thoughts and prayers. And Beth, I am delighted that every time you will hear the Jaws theme music and that you will smile instead of cringe. You see, that's called desensitizing yourself to it. The same way as, when we desensitize ourselves to the words that trigger us, we will be happier. And so a big hug to you all. And if you're watching on the replay, feel free to leave any comments of any subjects you'd like me to talk about, because really that's what we do. We talk about everyday subjects And it's amazing. I've been doing this for nearly 7 years now. Is it 7? Yeah. And we haven't run out of subjects, have we? And, we revisit them regularly because why? We need to revisit them regularly. And it's not about being perfect. It's about coping with what life is bringing you this week. So big round of applause. Thank you, Jody, for all you've done. And by the way, big thanks to Lauren as well. She's been really great supporting me this week. And, she's also grieving. She lost a family member recently. And so we all support one another so that we can all support one another. Look after one another, but most of all, look after yourself. Because if you are not calm, if you are not able to control your emotion, if you don't do that, then you will not be able to help others. And if I allowed myself to get sucked in with everybody's drama, I would not be able to help anybody. And least of all, I would not be able to help myself because I would be sucked dry. Do any of you understand that? I can hear a problem, I can give options, but I trust whoever it is to be smart enough to choose their own path. They just didn't have enough options. And so when I look at it, this is how you cope. Nasha, please let us know how your mommy does, and we are with you in spirit. All right? I want you to feel that we're all there. Thanks, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and I'm off. Nobody asked me what we're having for dinner tonight. We are having grilled chicken with a marmalade curry sauce on rice, pilaf. Yeah, rice with bits in it. Yeah. AKA pilaf. All right, everybody. So have a great weekend. I'm off to go cook. This is DearMamaSal saying, it's okay to be scared. Just move on. Know that you can cope. And whether you want to or not, you're going to need to cope, right? Remember Erin. Remember everybody. We're all coping with our own fears. This is DearMamaSal saying bye-bye for now. This should be ready soon.